What's going on, YouTube? Big Roy coming at you with the NFL Week 9 Monday Night Football live stream. Fat Guy will be joining us shortly, but he's not going to be here for the first part of the stream. And I'm just going to put in the betting percentages to see what the market is telling me. $67,000 bets so far. Pretty low for a primetime game. 24. And closing line looks like it's up to 7 in favor of the Steelers at home. Bears plus 262 on the money line. Steelers minus 305. And the OU is up 1 point to 40. Juice on the over, minus 103. Juice on the under, minus 108. Now, what does this all mean? What's going on, Tony? How you doing? Well, it's telling me to take the Bears. Yeah. I didn't put up like the early preview on the stream, so, but we're here, or I'm here. Fat Guy should be here soon. He'll probably be here just after kickoff, if I had to guess. All right. Well, I know what play I'm going to make. I just don't know when I'm going to make it. And obviously that depends on the juice that I can get, but I'm looking at taking the Bears plus 7. Tony, you're on Bears plus 7. I'm just gonna sit here and watch the juice, see if it gets any lower. Right now it's minus 109. So we got about 9 minutes till kickoff. What's going on, Jamie? How you doing tonight? You're probably not happy. Well, I'll take that back. You're probably not happy with the performance that the Chiefs put on, but they got the win. That's what matters. Yeah, it feels like the Chiefs lost. What's going on, Jackson? How are you doing tonight? I'm just sitting here waiting to take the Bears, but I'm hoping for better juice than minus 109. Fat Guy's not here to start the stream, but he should be here sometime. Probably in the first quarter. I'm contemplating taking that under as well, Jamie. The under is 40. Currently, the juice for me is minus 103. I think I'm just going to jump on that now because I like the juice. I'm going to bite the bullet and just take the Bears at minus 109. Are you ready for some football? What's going on, Mickey? How are you doing tonight? It's going to be a bit of a somber start to this stream because I'm not feeling well, so I'm being a trooper. We'll get through this. Fat Guy LP here, probably like mid first quarter. But I'm on Bears against the spread, and I'm on the under 40 at minus 103. And spread price, I'm not happy. It's plus 7, minus 109, but it's just too good of a market play to pass up. For the under, it's really about the percentage of money. There's 76% of the money is on the under right now, but the line is just, well, it says it opened at 40, so on Action Network it said it opened at 45.5, so I'm not sure where it opened at 45.5, but just 5 minutes till kickoff. I should probably pull up the actual game. Oh, how many points do you need, Jackson, from Najee Harris? Najee Harris. It's pretty much whoever puts up more points between Najee Harris and Khalil Herbert, I see. The what happened to Chase Edmonds this weekend? Did he get injured at the start of that game? Because I know he's got a high ankle sprain. Because I know that James Conner played super, super well, but I didn't realize it was because Chase Edmonds got hurt. I thought he was just playing well, so they kept him in. Man, Jackson, if you win this week, that's going to be awesome, considering how unlucky your week went as far as production and injuries. Oh, appreciate it, Jackson. Yeah, you'll be pretty happy. New England D was my best player. Yeah. Fantasy defenses can put up a ton of points. Like, if they have one of those types of games, like, you can get into the 20s and low 30s with very crazy defense, special teams types performances. So at least at Pinnacle, the juice for the spread is just not budging. It's staying at minus 109. So I haven't won or lost on that. I got the best of the under price at minus 103, which is nice to see. And for market plays, if you really want to be risky, you can take the money line. Michigan backhand said this just wasn't it for me this week. It happens. Believe me, it happens. By God, that's the fat guy's music. Oh, I've got you coming in on the wrong speakers. Let me get this fixed.
Yeah, you better hurry up on that, eh?
Mic check 1 2.
Mic check 1 2.
Awesome, you're coming through now. How are you, fat guy?
Good. Very busy day today, but good.
Busy's usually a good thing, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Unless you're a person who constantly complains about traffic, I'm admitting I can kind of be one of those once in a while.
I can't stand traffic.
I can't stand traffic.
These guys got
Captain's log.
I don't know which one's the quiet one, but these guys got the Penn and Teller experience before you showed up.
What?
I pretty much just stared at the
Oh, you just had dead air?
Yeah,
It's
it's
standard. Standard.
just silence.
Just standard, yeah.
I hope the video on demand when people watch this back it's between me and Joe Para who's going to put you to sleep first.
I'll tell you, if they make me a live representation of an Oscar, I'll be asleep. Don't worry.
Michigan backhand. Did you see the meme going around that the NFL bye beat the Lions this week, 27-24?
Nail biter.
Just another field goal. What's going on, Untouchable J? Jackson said also busy for me. It's good to be productive, but keeping up with sports is difficult these days. It's tough, but at the same time, that's why I love the NFL. Like,
yes, the scheduling is great,
and it's even if you like can't watch the actual games, you can watch the like they put together like 10-minute YouTube highlights on the NFL YouTube channel, and they're great too. Like, you kind of get the essence of what happened in the game by watching those. Yeah, Tony said he refused to talk to me. I definitely did. It was tough. Silent film, but not entertaining.
What are you doing?
Tawonka Ray said, them Browns got me to believe Cincy might be sus as F. And I don't know. What do you think about Cincy? What do you think about Cleveland? What do you think about Cincy in the ether of NFL power rankings?
This is starting to. I'm gonna sound like a jerk saying this. Ouchie! Oh, Jason Peters going down. That's not good. But like, the NFL season is 17 games now. You don't really get a good idea of who's bad and who's good. Like, are the Bills bad now because they lost to the Jags? Do you know what I mean? If Justin Tucker didn't hit the greatest kick of all time, are the Ravens better than or are bad because they lost to Detroit? Like, it's like the teams are relatively close. Like, to put it in college perspective, like, you're going to see spreads of 20, 28 regularly, even more so, right? Like, the biggest spread you're going to see this was Houston, Buffalo, Houston, LA Rams. I mean, those big spreads, yeah. One cover rare, depending on the number. Yeah.
It's very rare you get one even above 20.
So so there's no out of the question. Like, every team in the NFL could win the Super Bowl. It's just the probabilities are different. Was Detroit's at the start of the season probably 0.25%? Sure. Right. But like, Cincy is a respectable, like, if you're an average team, you're going to beat good teams at a reasonable rate. You just are. And I think Cincy's slightly above average. That's it. I know this sounds like such a long, convoluted answer, but like, I don't really like power rankings anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's okay. This team is up here, right? Especially because, like, power rankings are uneven. You never get a healthy football team. Do you know what I mean? It's not really like tennis. Like, it's the one same guy, often in the same conditions against another guy, right? There's just so many moving parts, right? Like, you're not going to get the same iterations or health, that sort of thing, right? So
I'm going to cut you off here because very, very close friend of the show, John Gruden, has joined us in chat. He said, "Let me back in. I won't email, okay? XFL won't take me. I did get an offer from Florida, though." This is one of the best ruses I've seen in a while.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, wow. Don? It's Don Pham.
John, you're more than welcome on the BRFG show anytime you'd like.
Oh, I love John Gruden. I'm not PC John Gruden. Let the expletives fly.
I don't get why they're always giving Urban Meyer all this credit when John Gruden invented the grinder.
Did he ever? How are the Raiders draft picks looking out right now? Damon
Isn't it
Damon Arnett
crazy?
got released, right?
Yeah, isn't it crazy to
Called that
have
yesterday.
2 first-round picks off your roster like before the second season is done?
Yeah, it had nothing to do with their play. I wouldn't say either of them's been great, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
it
it's
just
you know what sucks is that when they made that trade, when they got rid of was it Khalil Mack?
yeah.
Like we looked at that trade and went like this is such a big win, and it's like they've done everything they can to not make the most out of
Yeah,
those.
I still think they've won considering they wiped off that salary. You know what I mean? But like Mac's still a very impactful player, and like this hasn't helped, let's put it that way. I think 10, Mickey. I think we had 10.
Yeah, there was a lot. I think over 50% of the people that gave us a name
Can't
was
really blame
Rugs
them either.
related.
A clown, man. How stupid do you have to be? But like we say this, but I like it's pretty common, so I don't know.
Nice catch by Claypool on the sideline.
Oh, that was awesome.
The
Canelo. Did Canelo Alvarez fight already?
I don't know. I can take a look for you if you'd like.
Oh
It
yeah, I
looks
guess
like
they did.
they did fight. Alvarez TKO's Caleb Plant in 11th round.
Well, I lost some action on that. Your NASCAR is considering signing Ruggs. All right? He likes to go fast.
Just
So
been
my survivor is riding on this game, everyone.
well, you've got Pittsburgh at 3-1 is what they closed at.
1-3.
Thank you.
I know you don't get the math thing, but
It's tough.
speaking of which, that thing I got done for us, it's all in decimal math, so we're gonna have to rig up some new formulas.
That's fine. It should be
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, how hard could it be? I think decimal's probably easier to work with. Wouldn't the if statement be? It's just two if statements, right?
It's easier because you don't have to do the absolute value of.
Yeah, absolute value, and there's no negative. Yeah.
And a Najee Harris touchdown, which is great news for Jackson's fantasy.
Dude, look at the guy up front, that fan wearing number 90 there. That guy was awesome.
I actually drank some ginger last night, so I think that might have helped.
You drank ginger?
Like I drank, we boiled ginger.
Okay. You know, it feels good when you buy a ginger root, you scrape off the sides, you freeze it, and then you grate it like cheese. You put it in anything. It's great.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm fat. I know all this stuff.
Mickey said he would never let his Google search recommends pop up in front of a live audience. I don't have a lot to hide.
What is it? What do they want? Like the 7th season of Friends on DVD, moisturizer? Like what else you got going on?
Actually, my mom, I told her my birthday's coming up, so I asked if
It
she
is.
get these socks because I only know one place to get them, and she's there
in that area. Yeah.
and they don't have them, but she managed to track down the company online. So now I know the company and the brand of socks, so I'll be able to find them. But that, to me, that's impressive.
Okay, just so you guys know, Big Rye is the most low maintenance man in the history of. It's hard. It's a stretch calling him a man at this point. I understand that.
You brought
But
up the exact same point I was going to say, but
yeah, it's he is one of the most low maintenance people I've ever met, and it's I have to thank him though, because I was quite extravagant for most of my life, and you hang out enough with this guy, and believe me, your perspective changes.
listen to this. Jackson just said my Google search history just has lots of Larry King interviews. That is so good. What's going on, Jameson? It's nice to see you.
Oh, hello everyone.
So how small of a dose, Jay, should I be taking of ginger? Because he said it's only good in small doses. I'm guessing he's talking about like what you were saying, like grating it.
You grate it, it works great. Yeah, if you overdo it, it becomes like spicy almost, right? Which is not what you go for.
Well, we had last night. It was spicy.
Yeah. You'll figure it out. It's not that hard.
Fat guy, are you still undefeated in the BRFG league?
I lost one game.
So he's lost one. So the crown is safe, Jameson.
I was the closest, buddy. I was the closest. Mind you, I won the ultimate prize. I won in the playoffs, so I've still got the belt going on. And I'm in first place right now, so
Here's the standings in that league.
Big Rye's got more points than me, though. And I lost Derrick Henry too, so it's I think Big Rye's got the best team in the league right now. I think I had the best team in the league up until the Derrick Henry injury. Now I think it's Big Rye.
5-3 is still very, very good. That's, undefeated was something else. 5-3 is very, very respectable. Jackson, I had my wife boiled ginger, and then we had boiled ginger water with a bit of.
But it's almost tea at that point.
Yeah,
that's a false start by 71. That was Peters. I thought he was hurt.
Jay said if you and I weren't in the league, he might have a chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh. Well, the thing is though, we have a system, whatever, and it does work, but like what this league is like the good results, right? Like it depends what draft. Like there's a league I got David Montgomery, Saquon Barkley, and Chris Carson, and those three guys were on IR, like pretty much. Like Barkley not quite on IR, but he's missed 4 games, right? So I mean, it's like it hasn't been. I'm in like 8th out of 10, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't get out of it. There's no gaming my way out of it, And Justin Herbert kind of fell off a little bit for a couple weeks, so it's just one of those things. When you land in a good drafting position, our sheet said to draft Derrick Henry. That's not very revolutionary, in the spot that I was in.
Well, really, the strongest impact is kind of in the middle of the draft with the sheet. Like,
I know. But if you lose
picks.
your first 2 guys, like your first 2 picks, I lost my first 3 picks in that league. Hard. There's nothing you can do. I round 1, 2, and 3 pick.
On the flip side, there was a fantasy league that you and I were a part of 2 years ago, where I didn't have a pick until was it the 6th round or 7th round?
7th round.
I still made the playoffs, so it's definitely doable. But
you were the 2nd seed.
It's tough. it's tough to do.
Yeah, and then how did Big
And
Rye
to be
do
fair, I had two keepers that were like
Two
first,
really
second
big
round.
keepers.
So essentially a first round, second round, and then a bunch of 7s and 8s and 9s and 10s.
Yeah. And in that league, my latest round pick was the 4th round, and I didn't win. Came second.
Yeah, super unfortunate.
Yeah, that sucked. I did the greatest tank job ever. It made the local radio, by the way. I traded all of my picks and all of my players I felt I had I simulated this season. I felt I had about the 5th best team because it was a keeper league with draft pick trading, so like teams were uneven. So I decided I was going to pull off the ultimate tank job. So I was trading like a player and a pick to move up one draft spot and that type of thing. So I ended up getting it so that all my picks were in the first 4 rounds. So
Untouchable Jay said, I so wanted to trade Rye for a running back, but I had no clue which one to trade for.
Yeah,
I've been very fortunate. And then Jameson's on to something here by saying in standard leagues, running backs
they do
own the whole thing.
do. The scoring doesn't make any sense. Like, and there's a gap, right? Like, I think 3 receiver leagues are probably the way to go.
Or like 3 receiver PPR, because then at least it balances out.
Yeah, it would, right? Because then like at Devontae Adams, his value is actually going to be like it's really silly because we use a proprietary formula to kind of come up with rarity. Me and Big Rye, what we've come up with, and the problem is though is like, okay, you could say Devontae Adams has more points than these running backs. The issue is the gap between Devontae Adams and what's available on the waiver wire isn't nearly as large between, let's say, Jonathan Taylor and what running back you can get. You can't get any running backs on the waiver. They don't exist. Whereas starting a receiver, it's very easy to do. Big Rye is probably the luckiest guy ever with this. I've seen him literally trade his 2 starting receivers every week for 4 weeks and get a touchdown from at least one guy all 4 weeks in a row. Because think about it. There's 5 guys that catch touchdowns on a team. You could just game the system with prop odds. You know what I mean? It's not like goal line carries really change team to team. Like there's the odd ones like Gore on Kansas City, but like, who's getting the goal line touches on Pittsburgh? If it's like it's going to be Najee Harris, you have to get really lucky if it's like Benny Snell or somebody like that. And then on Chicago, if David Montgomery's healthy, there's an extremely high probability he's going to catch it, or he's going to get the carry, right? It's just not really like how that works. Does Allen Robinson really have a much higher touchdown reception likelihood in the red zone than Darnell Mooney or something like that? Not really. So they're like, and that's just on touchdowns too. Or Cole Kmet, like in the red zone, like how big is the gap? Whereas the carries, it's like the chances of Benny Snell getting a rushing touchdown is probably 4%.
I pulled up the free agents.
Oh my
in our
goodness!
League. Just looking at the flex position. I've just organized by points. I only see 1, 2. There's only 2 running backs here in the first 20. The rest are all receivers or tight ends.
Consider.
Yeah,
And who are they?
Kenneth Gainwell and Ty Johnson.
I mean, maybe. Gainwell's okay. Like, I'm surprised he's there. I have too many guys, otherwise I'd pick him up.
Whereas you have Tim Patrick, AJ Green, Van Jefferson, Kendrick
AJ
Bourne,
Green, Van Jefferson,
Corey Davis,
goodness.
Marquez Callaway. There's just
you
so
can
many
start
guys.
Half those guys, man. Randall Cobb.
Yeah, Zach Pascal, Cedric Wilson, who's played very good this year. Randall Cobb, Darnell Mooney, Donovan Peoples-Jones, who's going to have
Donovan Peoples-Jones. Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's a WR1 on Cleveland.
Yeah, Rondale Moore, Elijah Moore.
All of those guys get snaps, and that's another thing too. Look at the snap count. Half these guys play almost the same amount of snaps as bona fide starters too.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. So I agree with Jameson's analysis, and we do too, and we have the math to back it up and the record. To be honest, we've been very successful. And this is the funny thing: Big Ryan and I particularly don't like fantasy.
Well, there's a lot of randomness, and it's like it's a 10
You could make that
league.
argument about anything, though, right?
Yeah, but this one especially, because how I look at fantasy is if there's a 10-team league, even with all of this knowledge and understanding, I feel like my chance to win is like 13%. Like, I don't feel like I have that big of an edge compared to the other players, because there's just so much randomness and injury and who you play against and all that kind of stuff. It just ends up being
I think if I studied and worked hard, I could push it to 16%. Like, I could push that. I could double that edge. But I'd have to be scouring, like, prop lines and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And doing that type of homework and handicapping. But, like, that's the other thing, too. Even if, okay, and this is theoretical, even if I could generate that edge, the time cost benefit would be zero, like, negative.
it's not
You know
worth
what I
it.
mean? It's not worth it. Even the leagues I've been in that are $1,000, like, what's the first place prize? 4,500, 5,000? Like, that's a ton of work for that kind of money, right? I might as well go work at McDonald's, honestly.
Yeah. Well, Jameson put it perfectly here without maybe even knowing it, but like, fantasy it's purely entertainment. Like, that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Like, you're playing it for the entertainment of watching the game and caring about players. And that's really what fantasy comes down
Is
to.
Dylan still participating in fantasy? He sure is, Mickey, and he's doing a damn good job. Like, Dylan is the most active owner, I'd say, in the league. And you can say what you want about his decisions, but he's on the ball. You know what I mean? He's any of his decisions, if they're bad, it's not because of negligence. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, Dylan Toddfield, you have to give him credit, and he is a good competitor. Yeah, you might be in it to win it, Tony, but like, the time cost benefit to actually get the edge it's not really worth it, right? Like, I'm trying to think of how much a league would be where it would be worth it for me, and it'd have to be like medium 5 figures. I'm not even joking, you know. And then I would drop everything and I would be really serious about it. Like, it's just the edge is just it's just hard to get over the other players, especially because they have projections and like, it's not like I'm not saying the projections are good, but they're a baseline. You know what I mean? How much can you beat that baseline by? And don't forget notifications on people's phones. Like, people are into this stuff. It's just hard to get an edge on those, even if they're square.
I'll take it a step further, Mickey. So in my history of playing fantasy hockey, I think I've played maybe 6 years, and I think I won
greatest of all time.
I think I've won 4 or 5 of them. And
no, and the one you didn't win, you came second.
Yeah. And I won one where I didn't draft the team, and I literally traded or dropped every single player for a guy on the waiver wire and still managed to win the league.
Hockey's different, though. You found a really big inefficiency in scoring on that stuff.
But the reason I want to bring this up is that Mickey's going last year. He said, like, he's talking about Dylan set an alarm for waiver wires. One of the leagues that I played in didn't even have a waiver wire, so you literally had to check. You had to check like the activity like almost hourly to be competitive, because guys, like, you know, they rage out or whatever during an NHL season. If a guy doesn't put up points in like 4 games, they can drop someone that's way too good. But the amount of time that I had to put in to win that league was just so dumb.
Yeah,
like, it was so dumb.
Really trivial amount of money when you think about it, too.
Yeah, because you're putting in, like, I think maybe It was probably like
That
a
was a
league for
great
like
run, by the way.
$1,000 or $2,000. Like it's not a lot of money, and the to think I probably spent like 2 to 3 hours a day, like tracking that stuff, knowing everything that's going on in the league just to win, let's say
Your your
$1,000. It's not even close to being worth it.
your strategy was genius, though. To try and condense it down. In fantasy hockey, they do like stat categories. So how many categories, like block, shots, saves? Is this same? We're talking about the same one, right? Or do you play a
Well,
different rule?
I played in multiple ones, and the one that Fat Guy's talking about is I think there was 13 or 14 categories, and it was
Yeah.
like 8 of them were players, 5 of them were goalie categories, but 3 of the player categories were like
Block,
it was like
shots,
face-offs
hits,
ones, hits,
penalty minutes.
penalty minutes. So I essentially had to trade every single player I had to get to pretty much guarantee that I'd win every single goalie one every single week.
He
So
cornered the market on goalies because they were more rare. Whereas all of those really easy, like bad categories, like penalty minutes, hits, that type of stuff,
it's
he could make it up in the waiver.
it's so easy to be able to pick up because you're not competing with anyone for those positions. Whereas like no one's gonna drop Evgeny Malkin to pick up a guy that's gonna have more hits than me that week. Like it just doesn't
Yeah,
work
yeah, yeah.
because
So you
then
just
they'd
lose the
be
scoring and assist in the point category every week.
yeah. So essentially, I'm playing a game by myself, just figuring out how can I maximize like my hits and face-offs. And they had another thing like face-offs one was one of the categories. So you just take like every single one of my wingers was like a winger center. So I had every single player winning face-offs. And then there's guys that like they won a ton of face-offs and they'd get a ton of hits. So like I'm trading like every player I can, like combining like my 3 best players just to get this one guy that no one else really even wants. Like it
And
was
then you went further though with the scheduling. Big Rise players usually played more games each week.
well, I
And
had to do that. Like I had to cuz you'd have 4 you could only make 4 moves a week. So
yeah,
you would have
yeah.
to like essentially I went to the point where it's like you're maximizing how many games you can get out of each
Yes.
player for those weeks, which becomes very, very important when you want to have like 4 goalies, because essentially you want to find like who are the 4 goalies that are going to be playing like on separate nights during the playoffs. So now you're having to do an entire like it was a lot of work. Like it was insane how much work I had to do, and to make like it's really good because I learned different things and learned things that I use today to help
Strategies that work.
you guys out. And but it's just crazy like how much effort was put in. And that's only like that's why fantasy football is great though, because it's way harder. Like there's not a lot of things that you can take advantage of. But that's also why I don't like it as much, because outside of the draft and then maybe getting lucky on a waiver wire, like you can't really change. Like I could try to offer everybody, 1,000 trades, and I know it's not going to be even close because a lot of people value players differently than I do, and it's just not. It doesn't end up working out, but like fantasy football is so much more random than a lot of the other fantasy sports that I've played.
Yeah.
And I'm not like Fat Guy's the same way. We don't like games of chance. Like we like games where
I
the bigger
hate
the
'em.
edge, the more we probably like it.
Well, that's why I'm so boring. I only play people in games that I'm good at and they're bad at. So I got a good story. I once studied for 3 weeks on um, how to rig Monopoly in my favor, and then we played for actual money. So,
Yeah.
and I did win. I won, and I had 32 trial games of Monopoly in that 3 week period, and I won 27 of them. So believe me, it's what you have to do is you have to memorize the. So it's a game of dynamic value, so you have to memorize which chance cards are available, and then that way when someone pulls a chance, because there's a lot of transport chance cards that will take you to certain properties. So then what you need to do is those properties are more valuable because in later stage games is different than early stage games. So, like for instance, Park Place and Boardwalk are worth very little in the beginning because people don't have very money, so the development cost is high. And also, too, there's only one card that advances to Boardwalk. There's a whole thing. I love it. I should write a little pamphlet on it. Someone else did write a book on it, but I think I can beat it. So we love that kind of stuff though. And
Yeah.
I wonder how big my edge even was at Monopoly, like maybe 10%. And I have to go and remember all the chance cards again. No, and that was how I won though. Is what I did is I traded low valued property. I traded high value properties for low valued properties, and then I would get a set in the earliest part of the game, and then I'd maximize and get hotels at said set, and then I would negotiate based on the amount of chance cards left in the deck. So the type of chance cards left in the deck. Oh, and then the other thing too, I negotiated for railroads because nobody thinks they're any good. But then I owned all four, and there were only 7 chance cards left, and 2 of them had, if you land on the railroad, you get double. So that would generate 800 revenue each time. And if you bust somebody, you get their stuff, or it goes to auction depending on the rules that you play by. So that was a big thing too in that game. So, anyways, I could talk about that stuff forever. We do have a football game where the Steelers are winning 7-0, and my survivor is live. Oh, it's Bill Lazor is the Bears OC. I remember when he was the offensive coordinator of the Bengals. Was not a good marriage. Let's put it that way.
Well, him and Matt Nagy are just a tough group to stop.
That was so. It's a mean milk toast thing.
What do you think the average NFL age of a NFL official is?
That's a great question. I'm gonna say 52, 48 in that range.
It's probably a bit lower because there's a lot more younger refs coming in, but it feels like
Well, I don't pay attention to line judges enough, though, right? So, like, yeah, probably for that. But head referee, I don't think it's lower than that.
Yeah, for head referee, I agree. I just find it strange. What do you think should be the maximum age to ref an NFL game?
I don't know. Maybe 55. I forget what rules they have for UEFA. Like, because some of the best refereeing I always found is in international European men's soccer, like the Euro Cup. I feel like usually has the best referees.
It's strenuous. Like testing for soccer refereeing is very strenuous.
Yes, and like the best referee I think in my memory is Pierluigi Collina.
Big interception here by Cameron Hayward.
Oh my goodness! Big interception by a D lineman. Yeah, he last reffed the 2004 Euro Cup, and those a lot of those guys stick out for me because when you don't talk about them, it's good, right? So, anyways, I feel like there should be some sort of they should understand some of the modeling from European soccer. Also, too, I don't understand why they don't take a page out of the English Premiership's book with the sensors in the ball. Like how you're a multi-billion-dollar league. The NFL is unbelievable. Like I think we can figure out how to spot a ball better, you know.
I was watching a game and they actually brought this up and they gave the answer that Goodell said, and Goodell said that he likes and thinks fans would miss out on the human element of the game if they went to that type of
spotting the ball. No way. I think that's silly. You could make the case for that in baseball as far as a strike zone. I get that I get, but as far as placing a ball, also too, the human element includes reviewing. You know, I don't watch baseball. I don't think they review balls and strikes. So if you're going to review anyways, then why not have a scientific tool? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's just.
The reviews take 2 minutes. It's just another plug for a commercial, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like, why not just have stickers at both ends of the ball, on the inside of the ball? If it crosses the said line, and then you could have a bunch of lasers at the bottom. Yeah, but they had those red and blue lines, though, Jay. Those are distracting. This is just measuring for success. I like these Harris second effort runs because that should have been tackled behind the line. And now they're in a really good spot here. This is the only thing. Does Tomlin have the gumption to go for it on third? And if he fails, go for another run on fourth? I don't know.
I think so. It looks like they're lining up for a run.
Yeah, it's third down still, though, right? Like, it should be 2 runs in a row, even though it is Akeem Hicks. Yeah, so here we go. Here's the question. Can you pull this off now? This is a tough front seven. And you can't fault Harris on that, too. Oh, yeah, you are right, Jay. Yeah, the tech has been around, right? But I think it's finally gotten the use. Like, EPL soccer, whether whether the ball crossed the line, like you should easily be consulting those people, whoever came up with that. There we go. Good job, Pittsburgh. And did they get it? Yes, they did. Thank you for not being a wimp. Because that would have been just on the surrender index, that wouldn't have been good. Not that it would have been a punt, but still.
The live line for this game is Steelers -17.
That seems pretty high.
Yeah, if you wanted to play it safe, Fat Guy, you could bet the Bears at +770 on the money line.
No. I believe in retaining good equity. That's not really true. If I had a a good mathematical study, maybe if this survivor pool was worth more, then I'd probably do it.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's hard. Like I should do that Vancouver wide one though. The guy who taught me, who I showed you those very things, he won it 3 years in a row. Those were big payouts. Yeah, he didn't get a loser wrong for 3 years. Talk about a run, eh? It might have been easier to game back then, though. You know what I mean? Because I'm not sure what year this was, but if you have like 12 really good teams and 12 really bad teams, it would be a little bit easier, you know?
Yeah, and just the talent of people picking is improved, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, for sure, right?
I major need a cough button. I could set it up. I did it for the video, but the live stream, it's a little bit tougher.
He should just stop being a girl.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right?
You
can just suck it up, right? Tough it out.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, for not toughing it out. I'm actually a little bit surprised that the live line is as high as it is.
Yeah, I know. Considering they haven't even scored they haven't scored points yet on this drive. Like,
yeah,
there's no guarantee here. Maybe it's just, I don't know. Like, Fields has had a really tough go at it.
Yeah, he's.
But then why wasn't this game spotted at Steelers -9.5? You know what I mean?
Well,
if
that's it kept creeping up. Like, it got up to 7. Like, I ended up taking the Bears at +7 in this game.
I booked action on the Bears +7. I'm on the Steelers -7.
Well, let's hope for a push.
No, I'll take the money, pal. I got killed yesterday, in case anyone was wondering.
And Jay, definitely. Once I get my lips around those, just nothing stops me.
This is a quote from Big Rye. Quit pulling my ears. I know what I'm doing.
I love that one.
No, it's so good.
I don't know who was more surprised when I said it, you or me. Really, really nice back shoulder completion, considering how good the coverage was.
Well, yeah, when you think of a guy like using his body to make that reception, that's not the type of. Oh man, that could have been deflected so easy. that was impressive.
And there's definitely too many players on the field. I don't get how the substitution stuff works in the NFL because I see the ref stand under the ball to let substitutions happen. I guess that's only if the offense subs.
There's the maple leaf for Mr. Chase Claypool. Lives only an hour away from us.
This has been such a bad start for the Bears.
We don't like this coach. Where's the BU thing? What happened to that? If you're going to do that, why don't you just throw it in the end zone? Like get a touchdown or nothing. I guess there's a chance Claypool could have got in. I'm wondering if that was a flag.
I'm actually not familiar with Vildor.
Me neither. I was thinking the same thing. Nice job. That was awesome.
Kindle Vildor is a 5th-round pick from 2020.
He sounds like a German supervillain.
Yeah.
Good job, Ben.
That play looked like it had promise, but I guess the Bears did well defensively at the back end. 3rd and goal.
I'm on Pittsburgh Zaps -7. I think I got +110.
And I'm on the Bears +7.
There you go. Big opposites on this.
I'm also on the under 40, -103.
I also have Steelers as my survivor, so there's that too. Multifaceted.
Bears.
I got really lucky this weekend. I specifically didn't take the three big ones. I didn't take Indy, didn't take the Bills, and I didn't take Dallas. And then here we go. I wish, man, if it was only one strike, I'd have it wrapped up with this Pittsburgh Steelers win. But
yeah, that'd be nice.
It'd be nice to win in like week 9. My survivor picks are always interesting though. Like I've used Atlanta and Miami and stuff, so.
Well, it's part of the strategy. You got to be different. If you just do what everyone else does, you're going to lose with everyone else.
Yeah. You know, it's a double secret contrarian. I'm Dean Wormer. I watched Animal House the other day. It was awesome. Yes.
What a job
Right
by
on.
the Steelers O-line. Congrats, Zaps. That's awesome.
I saw that, Zaps. I got killed this week though, because I went. I had Bills at minus 13.5. I had Texans +7, and I had San Fran -2 and -2.5. So I got San Fran before the Kyler Murray news. I got Houston before the Tyrod Taylor news breaking and before Tua being out. So, but like, I won on some other stuff, but those plays were really big, those three. So I lost a lot of money. I don't know if this is my worst weekend. Oh no. Remember that what was it? I think it was week 2 where my customers went like 21-0.
Oh yeah. But you had such a strong start that
I know, but that was bad. But then as usual, it always happens this way. You get creamed on the morning or the um you get creamed in the morning and the afternoon, and then they somehow bet bigger on the primetime games, which I'm like
yeah.
the luckiest man in the world in primetime.
The what's interesting is that how often is someone placed a wager with you and then won a bunch of money and then went, oh, I don't want to make any more bets.
Only one guy ever.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't a lot of money, but for him it was. And I was happy with for him, to be honest. Like, and he took the worst prices and the worst, because like a guy that square, you're like, okay, he's on credit. I don't know him super well. This is a lot of money for him. Like, I could give him pinnacle lines, but like, you should learn a lesson not to do this if you don't know what you're doing. And he didn't learn that lesson. He won, but then he quit. I was really impressed. So, I online sort of, Jay, but like this is a issue. They use government. A lot of the guys that I exchange action with, they use government websites that are like, worse than 20-cent lines. Like for instance, one guy used Poker Stars. Poker Stars does -118 on both sides. Are you serious? Then I explained to him the payouts. I'm like, I can beat that all day, right? And then also too, like a lot of guys who play poker, they like cash. They just do. So you end up in this scenario, right? I'm not the only guy that does it. Like there's a guy within the Asian community that does too, but it works out, and you always meet him at poker games too. So like it's a good way to to collect or to pay and stuff. It's very easy to track people down. So it's been very fruitful for me and entertaining for them, I would imagine. Shaquem Grant, okay? When did Miami release him?
It would be such a guess on my part that I don't think it's worth even saying.
I thought he was on Miami this year. Like, I feel like he got released. This would have been really recent.
He was traded in October.
He's like one of those super athletes that just never got it together. Like as far as like the agility, like at high speed combo, kind of like like D'Anthony Thomas or something like that, or Darwin Thompson, both Chiefs, oddly.
Well, he's 5'6", 169 pounds. Like that's about as small as you get. He was a 6th-round pick in 2016. Like I think it's been a very good serviceable career for him, like where he's drafted and his height and weight. Like,
well, I don't think he has very many yards, big right. I would imagine he has under 5 touchdowns.
To me, he's still playing off a non-rookie contract. That's a pretty big
That's a
success for
win.
a sixth
Okay.
round pick.
Okay, that's fair.
Might be time to hit the DVR with my Bears +7 ticket. Yeah. This one's not exactly going to be a barn burner. It could be a nice defensive matchup, even though Pittsburgh scored on 2 of their first 3 drives.
James Harden retired mid-game. He pulled a Vontae Davis.
No. So
Or was it a joke?
he didn't actually retire, but he was dribbling the ball, and he dribbled it like he mishandled his dribble, and it went into the backcourt. So he's supposed to run to the backcourt, pick the ball up, and then it's an over and back violation. And instead, he just kind of like walked towards the ball, but kind of like just gave up on the play, like they were good, like the refs blew the whistle, and then the defender just walked up, picked the ball up, and dunked it. So people were joking that he retired on the play because he just stopped playing.
Vontae Davis actually retired from the NFL during a game.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. He at least waited till halftime.
You see that hit?
Yeah.
His defense is showing up.
Oh, this can get ugly fast. If like the Bears offense is going to have 3 and outs, like there's only so long you can play defense for.
Well, this might be a good return. Dude, 36. Great job. Wow, 36.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, has there ever been an NHL player that quit mid-game? Not that I can remember. The, like, unwritten code of hockey players, I feel like, is a lot different than a lot of these other sports. I even, like, something you don't realize in hockey, or I don't think of, is the players talk about there's, like, certain areas on their body that doesn't have any padding. So, like, if you take a 100-mile slap shot off this frozen puck in those spots, like, that's got to be incredibly painful. Like, you figure by now they'd know how to, like, protect those areas, but apparently not.
I don't know. If you're Gordie Howe, you just take it off the dome. Take a Bobby Hall slap shot right to the face. No problem. Like, but you leave the goalies, Eddie Bauer, Gump Worsley.
Yeah, but then to now, it's a little bit different. Like, some of the equipment and training and all that stuff it's come leaps and bounds.
Even though they still say Bobby Hall had the hardest shot, which I think that's a dubious.
Well, anyone who played in his era is going to say that. Like, that's just...
Yeah. Oh, it's the highest recorded. It's 120 miles. I'm sure it was 10 miles an hour faster than Chara, I'm sure.
It'd be interesting to see, like, how much... like current day athletes compare to some of those like early day athletes, like kind of when these sports started out.
But they did that through like they judged, what was that sports science judged like torque and speed through video, and the Jim Brown and Bo Jackson stood out on that. I remember watching that thing, which that makes the most sense to me. Like, I don't imagine that Bo Jackson wouldn't be the best athlete in the NFL right now. You know, I could be wrong though, right? Like, it's the pedigree could be that much higher, but.
Well, the one thing for certain is that there was a bigger gap between them and the people that they played against than what there would be from like close. The average player. So it's.
Jim Brown was 235 and the defensive linemen were 250, and he was probably the fastest guy in the league. Like, it's not like there's a reason he's averaging over 5 yards a carry, over 100. But I have the painting right next to me. Let me see here.
I was watching some Wilt Chamberlain highlights, and it's so unfair.
So unfair.
Like, the guy was pretty much the fastest guy on the court.
104.3 yards per game. Oh, and then you had Bill Russell. Bill Russell didn't have too many problems with Wilt Chamberlain. Not when it was crunch time.
I think Bill Russell's the best
Probably the
player
best
all
ever.
time, but
Najee Harris splitting out. Go. Oh, here's that big punter. Remember from the preseason?
yeah.
And that's not a good punt.
He didn't get all of that one. Special teams is pretty key in this kind of a game.
Yeah.
The Bears have kind of been pushed back this entire time, and for good reason. I can't remember who started with the ball. Looks like the Bears.
I remember that game. I think it was Packers Bears. 2010. Packers need to win to get in the playoffs. And Tim Mastay had like the game of his life. Like kept kicking it like within 10 yards, like within like coffin kicking it within 10 yards of the goal line. And the Packers essentially, I would say, won based off those punts. I think it was like a 10-7 game. How long ago? That would have been 12 years ago. My memory's not that good anymore.
Fact, are you going to watch the new Home Alone remake?
They're doing a remake? Why ruin my favorite movie? Who's it starring? Like, who are the bad guys? That's what I want to know. Who's Harry and Marv?
I'm not sure. Let's see.
All right, this is just gonna be too horrible, I'm sure.
It's on Disney Plus.
Okay. This looks like a fail already.
Ellie Kemper, Rob Delaney, Keenan Thompson, Pete Holmes, Chris Parnell.
Andrew Daly's in there. I like him. I want to. Oh, Buzz, Devin Ratray, he's in there. We got one original.
So Ellie Kemper and Rob Delaney are the criminals.
Yeah, I'm sure. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt's robbing a house. All right. It looks like he stepped out there. There's a trailer. I'll have to watch this and discuss. I'm allowed to be a snob. But Home Alone, I like. It's not my favorite movie, but it is up there in terms of replayability and enjoyment. My dad's old, and his memory isn't the greatest, but like, I watch him laugh like a child every Christmas. He'll watch it 3 or 4 times, and both the New York one and the regular, and just laugh his head off. And it's like, I don't know, it makes me happy because he gets a kick out of the guys, the robbers getting hurt. What a sack. You couldn't lose any more yards on that if you tried.
That was actually quite comical. Like, to watch him pretty much run full speed backwards.
And you see the kick, he had pressure from both sides too.
There's been a couple plays like that where if they just handed the ball off, like Montgomery probably has a lot of success. This is a team where you just don't feel very confident third and long.
Why are they calling bootlegs and stuff though? Like, I guess I don't know. It just seems like a lot of.
Well, respectable yards
From Jakeem Grant. You're going to get a field goal try out of this. His jersey got ripped big time on that one, though.
Flag on the play.
Ooh, maybe it's against. Maybe on that hit? Oh, my goodness. You can't. Is that Demir Bird? This is a pretty bad receiving core. I saw a Pro Bowl jersey there. You got to be some weird fan to buy a Pro Bowl jersey. Well, that just wiped out 3 points. Good for the under.
OU's now at 38.
Ooh, I want to see how my. See the stock market today, Big Rye?
I saw the big numbers for coins.
I had a crypto ETF. I was up 16%. It closed at 9. Still a good day. Like I'm averaging like 4%, I'd say, on all of my stuff today. So we'll take it.
That's crazy.
Let's go silver. Let's be real here. Yeah, I did, Jackson. It's the thing I don't like about those coin scams is they like the media highlights them. And I saw something funny. There was, I think it was like 800 million bucks was lost in crypto scams in the United States, which it's going to happen. Like there are lots of crypto scams, but like I think they generated $12 billion in overdraft fees, the banking system. Like who's the real crook here? You know what I mean? Crypto's not perfect. It's I don't, I don't like all these like garbage coins either. Even I think Shiba Inu is probably a scam in some capacity. And even then, like, you know, even if Bitcoin started as some sort of, you know, Bitcoin's not as altruistic as people think. The adoption has been that way, right? And I don't know. I just think it's a better alternative than banking. We're forced into these types of decisions. You have to deal with banks. Crypto is a way to circumvent to a point. So I'm all for it, and I've been invested in crypto for about 2.5 years now. At least I think so. I'm not very good with timelines.
Eddie Goldman got out there fast.
He's been a good second round pick, eh? Like one of those guys
Really
that's
good.
okay. I'm not, you know, he's not making the Pro Bowl. I think he maybe has once. Probably not though, but it would have been once or none. But anyways, he's a starter every year.
Yeah.
Like that's
6 years.
That's a win.
And he's
yeah, exactly.
Actually, this might be considered his 7th year. And he plays for a good team. Like he's been a starter on a good defense.
On a good defense, yeah. We got another punt here. We're gonna have the big boy have another chance.
That's one of the craziest stats in sports. Like,
well, there's a reason they're like one of the most successful franchises. You know, I don't even remember them having a bad team. I remember, you know, they've had teams that haven't made the playoffs with Big Ben, right? But like a bad team, I don't remember one. This one's not that good either.
I like how the one guy just grabbed Jakeem Grant by the face mask and pushed him back into the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, like, I don't like that, but I actually think, like, if you can push another player into the ball, like, it should be live.
Why not? In that situation, it's a little hokey, but, like, why is he around the ball, though?
That's what I mean. Like, if the returner's going to be there, they've got both Herbert and Montgomery in on this play. They're in Wildcat. Like, it's an obvious run. I don't know why you'd be playing the pass at all.
Yeah.
Like
why are the safeties so back so far?
The entire defense, like.
Yeah, what are you doing? You're completely right.
Because he definitely stepped on that ball, like. But also, Minkah Fitzpatrick is touching a player on the field, and he's pretty much standing on the field too. So,
yeah,
like, I don't.
Wait, what's allowed? Yeah.
I want to know, like, what goes into the Steelers organization's decisions on hiring a coach, because
could you make an argument though that perhaps they've been very lucky too, like
they've definitely been lucky, but like there's too many other teams. Like, the sample size is bigger than we think, because there's another 30 something odd teams. I don't know exactly how many teams there were in 69, but every year, like I would like to know what like the average tenure is of a coach.
My guess is 4 years.
It might be even
maybe
less.
5. No, because you got to think of the guys that have really long ones, right?
Yeah, but those like one guy can be there for 20 years, and the rest of those guys, those 1 and 2 year type guys, like it.
Yeah, but one guy's there for 20 years. Four 3 other guys are there for 1. That's an
Yeah,
average of 6 years, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. 4th and 1. Sadly, the Bears have to go for this.
yeah. Why do they do the like? Why not be direct? I don't get it. I don't get it. I hate this stupid misdirection when you don't need very much. It's one thing if you're trying to get 6, but if you're trying to get 1, that was good from the Bears.
Rookie made him jump.
That was good.
That was really good.
They didn't expect it from him either.
No.
Like, they didn't give him credit that he could even do that. That's pretty good.
It's also actually like probably a good penalty for Pittsburgh to take. Like,
Yeah. The risk reward, right? Because if you're not that aggressive, the chance of you giving up the first down anyways is very high. You know what I want to know? Why doesn't Cameron Sutton just run and try and drive into him as hard as possible? I guess, like, I mean, the threat of getting a $25,000 fine when you're Cameron Sutton is probably not very good.
On the flip side, I was wondering why Fields didn't plant his foot and cut back. So it's just funny how
there was a big boy on the inside, 97. Like, maybe he could have glided past.
Well, Hayward was like, I don't know the athleticism of Fields enough.
Yeah,
to know.
yeah. And it's hard to know in that spot. Like, I don't know. You might err on the side of caution almost. So
yeah,
because like there's a if you guess wrong with one of those big guys, you're Robert Griffin III.
Yeah, well, that's the
Getting
biggest
hit
thing,
by
right? It's a quarterback. That's the part you have to remember. It's one of the things we praise.
Hello, Inada.
On RG3, I don't. But I can only imagine.
It's not a good matchup for old RG3.
No. Hallowy not a favorite of Fat Guy and I.
One of the best defensive players in the league. Oh, I found it. It was one of the first things that came up when you type his name in. Oh man, it's bad. Oh, he hurt him. Yeah, this is bad. I'm gonna send you it on WhatsApp. Oh. And the thing is, Hello Inada, like, is barely moving at any sort of reasonable speed, and Robert Griffin III is running at full speed. And this launches Kirk Cousins' career. There's Kyle Shanahan. Oh, what a video! See you, Jackson. Have a good one.
Have a good night, Jackson. Will this game, I'm guessing you're talking about the score. And right now it's favored to go under.
Yeah, it's very favorite. Oh, and Will, wow. Yeah.
And the Redskins, they're down 20.
Yeah, that's a hit.
It doesn't look like much, but when you do the math on like 360 pounds against 210,
Yeah.
you're hurt. Oh, we got a measurement coming. Rare. Especially within 2 minutes. You don't see this often. First down. Tony Correnti looks like a Dick Tracy villain. Yeah, I don't think he got it either, Mickey, but like it's inside of 2 minutes. I don't know. Feels like the ball gets always pushed ahead a few inches.
If that replay that they just showed was the one, like he looked a full yard short.
Yeah. When you have influence from Dick Tracy placing the ball, anything can happen.
Like that was a completion, but like I don't know if I like Fields throwing an 8-yard dart into, double zone coverage.
Yeah. Like considering like the risk reward, like what can happen a lot of the time there.
Yeah.
Ooh. Komet took a nice hit on the back of the noggin there.
That was probably Fields' best throw of the night. Pittsburgh takes an early timeout. I'm a little bit confused as to why.
I think Hayward was sluggish to get off the field.
They could have probably let a few more seconds tick off. That looked like a painful
Fitzpatrick
hit.
drove through him.
Yeah.
I love it.
I remember I actually liked Fields the best out of all the rookies coming in as far as like his tape. Like I guess maybe outside of Lawrence, like Lawrence just has all the physical tools. Bears still have 2 timeouts. My guess is one more run, then probably a timeout. Oh. Sorry, Don. I'll update that.
Oh, I thought that was a catch.
It looked
That
like
would have
it
been
for a second.
unbelievable, eh?
It looked like it for a second, but
Joe
I would have
Hayden.
been very surprised.
This is an old vet on an old vet, eh?
Who did they throw that to?
Jimmy Graham.
Oh,
Jimmy Graham
really?
versus Joe Hayden. I can't believe Joe Hayden's still in the league. Oh, Joe Hayden was very fortunate on that.
I thought with 2 timeouts they'd run the ball 2 more times, but instead they use a timeout before the play, which is just disastrous.
Yeah, they sure did.
Well, very good for the under. And spoiler alert, he makes it. 14-3. Live line for this game is 14. OU's at 36. You can't stop Cairo Santos. You can only hope to slow him down.
You couldn't use contain there? What do you have? Mess up the idiom?
Yeah, that's kind of my thing.
You're full of acorns.
Those two.
Can't stand these commentators.
Who is it for this game? Oh, it's
Not
those three.
sure.
It's those 3 guys. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't stand them. You have a player that thinks he's a coach. Let's call it, should have been a lawyer that wants to be a player, and then a neutral that can't stand either guy.
Mickey likes how I say death kneel.
Yeah. So like, there's so many Mickey in real life.
Imagine me, like, you guys don't understand how hard it was for me to write an essay.
And you're the one that graduated university out of the 2 of us.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't from writing, that's for sure.
No, it was not. You did go though. You went. That's half the battle right there.
I showed up half the time.
Yeah. With serious regret afterwards.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I think it's only getting worse, to be honest.
School or me?
School.
Oh, yeah.
You talk to a young kid now, oh man. Then you wonder, like, I must have been like that. You know, maybe I was better, maybe I was worse. Who knows?
Those USAA Gronk commercials are terrific. I do
You
enjoy
just make
them.
him look like a moron.
It's perfect though. Like that's his MO. Like that's spot on.
He's Robert Gronkowski. Come on. Man, if Booger held one hand up, he could be a compass. Like,
So nobody picked up Beckham off waivers?
he's placed on waivers. I think there's still
okay.
time.
Okay.
It's my least favorite player in the league, Odell Beckham Jr. He's a total clown.
I think Henry Ruggs takes that for now.
Yeah, you kill a golden retriever. I mean, you're not going to make friends that way. But then again, I said in the league. Henry Ruggs is not in the league.
I was going to make the same case for Beckham.
Well, he's got a chance. I mean, my guess was San Francisco. I need like 15-1, and I would consider it. But maybe 12
For
But,
Beckham
I don't know.
to get signed?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because he fits. Just because I think he fits the yards after the catch type thing, and I don't know if they're happy with Brandon Ayuk and stuff like that. Like, I could see them like they're always a team that's trying to.
But he wants to be on a contender, and San Fran's not a contender this year.
Yeah, well, he's out to lunch. He was on a contender. You said it best last night.
Yeah.
Like who? Like you think Arizona wants him?
At the right price, yeah.
Maybe.
Um,
Buffalo? You think he wants to go play in Buffalo?
I don't think Buffalo wants him.
No. I'm trying to think, like, and all like contender, all the teams are pretty close. I don't think the Chargers would take him. Would the Ravens put up with that garbage?
I could see the Patriots.
Yeah, I that stuck out to me too. Is that a contender?
I could see the Raiders. I could see the Chiefs. Chiefs makes the most sense, to be honest.
I think San Fran does because of fit. And San Fran is just as much of a contender as the Raiders.
Titans is interesting.
That one is interesting. I was looking at that too.
On the NFC, Cowboys don't really need them.
No, Cowboys, there's no way.
Cards don't. The Rams really
Rams?
don't.
No.
They just don't.
Packers, for sure, like, just out of, like, breadth of depth. That was terrible. That was very cacophonous, but
I could see him signing with
I
the
don't think
Bucks.
so. How? What? Why? You're out of your mind. There's no room.
I don't think there needs to be. I think they could just rotate him in. But
With
he seems
what?
like
You have Evans, Godwin, Antonio Brown, Scotty Miller, and Justin Watson or whatever. That's good enough.
Yeah, it's if he wants to win.
And Johnson, that other guy, that Cedric, whatever his name is.
If he wants to win and he doesn't want to do anything, that the Tampa Bay is the best team.
Yeah. Okay. If you want to be LaShawn McCoy on the bench, healthy scratch and win, yeah, that's the team for you.
Mickey said he just took the Bears second half money line at plus 155.
Interesting. The Bears have more urgency to score.
I hope the Giants sign him.
That would be hilarious. I don't think ownership would ever sign off on that. I want him to play for the Jets and burn in flames and then retire. Then you have like LeBron James saying free OBJ. What a bunch of clowns. You know, like, because today's athlete, it seems to be the formula is just complain if your team's not winning, not actually like intervene. Do you know what I mean? like lay it out on the field, just complain.
What do you think is the best fit for him? Like
San Francisco.
actual best team is
San Francisco.
Fran.
It's a yards after the catch type thing. He can't actually get open. It's set up to do yards after the catch. He'll get the targets and he'll get the opportunity for creativity. Baker plays better than everyone's trashing him. I think Baker's probably better off without big personalities too. Like Landry's less of a whiner because Landry leaves it out on the field. Like Landry takes it to heart. Like I feel like he's more invested in helping his team win than himself. Even though I still not my favorite. But I think you're better off with guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones. It's better for the budget. It's you just get full effort out of those guys who haven't got that big contract yet. I'm just a big Donovan Peoples-Jones fan, and they're better off, and I want more guys like that on the team. Landry is a football player, yeah. Beckham isn't, like Beckham's a wannabe artist or something, not a diva exactly. Like Landry does, like. You could get Landry to play special teams. I mean, he did. Landry carries the ball. He's very physical yards after the catch. I much prefer him. The personality is not my favorite, but he's still the effort's maximum, right? So I still think he's not nearly worth the money, and they should get rid of him next year. But he does throw. I didn't even add that. He throws a great ball.
Just looking at the stats, they're almost identical for this first half. But the Bears had a turnover and 6 penalties. And that really
I got a question for Mickey. I just saw that Kansas was ranked number 3 on the commercial for college football on Saturday. They were playing Michigan State. Michigan State weren't they ranked 3rd or 6th or something? And they lost to, I think it was at Purdue. Is it that, like, you lose one game and you just drop out of the top 25? Is it that, like, elastic, Mickey, at this stage? Because I'm curious how they come up with this college football ranking system. But Michigan State shouldn't be unranked over 1 loss. Okay, maybe they aren't. But in the promo they did for Saturday, there was no number next to it, so I was curious.
Michigan State's 8th.
Oh, okay. I wonder why they didn't have the number there. Maybe I just didn't see it. Yeah, there you go. You think they'll be like 8, which they are. Yeah, it's pretty good, Mickey. I was just curious, like how Malik, because I thought it was strange, right? They didn't see the number there.
It's interesting here. Georgia has 5 wins at home, 2 wins away, but they're 9-0.
It's probably neutral, I guess. Or maybe that's a mistake. Maybe click Georgia and see where they play. No.
So they did have a neutral field game against Clemson.
Here, take the ketchup. Thank you. Did you do a pack? I always find it interesting too, like how teams fall off, like without a quarterback, and how you don't have one in the hopper, kind of like LSU and Joe Burrow.
Like call it like the really good college team should have two quarterbacks. Is that what you're saying?
I would think, or more, right? Like maybe the competition for quarterbacks has got to be insane when you're like in the courting process. Only 63 passing yards. That's so weird.
I like the pun at the end.
It's not like being a quarterback waiting for the NFL draft. You get picked almost kind of where you get picked. Like it just is. Whereas I can't imagine, like, if you're a star high school quarterback, like on the national level, like what kind of stuff gets thrown at you?
Yeah, I thank you as well. That was good. What a tackle.
That was great.
That was Kindle Vildor again. What they call it, roughing the passer?
Yeah.
That must have been a real late hit because that ball came out fast. Oh, man.
Ooh.
That didn't seem like much.
You got a collision. Like, I don't know. It's football. I don't know about that.
Eddie Goldman did a nice job to make sure that Harris didn't pick up like an extra 2 or 3 yards after contact. That's crazy.
As he should, though.
Man, Harris fighting for extra yards. Yeah, I think I might do that. Maybe at the end of this drive, I'll do that.
I wouldn't have guessed that second in RB receptions. Would not have guessed him.
I wouldn't either, but he's played so much. Like, eventually that's got to mean something. Especially with just how this offense is, like, it's weird because they just have so much, like, skill position firepower that this could be like a pretty high octane offense. Whatever that means.
There's a good punt finally.
This game is incredibly defensive. Roethlisberger managed to throw for 3 yards on that drive.
Ooh.
I'll be back shortly.
Here's the trailer. Here's the trailer for Home Alone, whatever.
Enjoy.
I'm sorry, but a female burglar, I'm just not buying it. I guess it's 2021. I agree with Zaps. This game is a little bit dull. At least with the Colts Jets, like you saw some very efficient play from the Colts. I love those bad heads. Mike Tomlin won too. Not bad. 3rd and 8 here. This is so many 3 and outs. Oh, and there we go. Reception. As soon as I see him scrambling the end zone, I thought it was dead. Wow. I thought Montgomery hadn't done a very good job, like, pushing the pile, and then you see that. That helped whoever was behind him, though. Number 18. Is that Jesse James? I'm surprised they gave him a catch.
I see Marquise Goodwin with a big drop.
No, they're calling it a catch, but this would be similar to like the Des Bryant Green Bay Packers thing.
Like, it doesn't, like, from my very, very brief look at it, it doesn't look like he actually gets, like, possession, but it's weird because he kind of, like, makes a football move at the same time.
Yeah.
Zaps thinks it's definitely a catch, so I didn't get to see it live.
I'm actually fine if they make it not a catch because it would be consistent, but it's fine if they let it stand too. I think it's worth a challenge, to be honest.
With how plays are going in this game, because how long was that? 50 yards? Like, with how much...
At least.
It's, like, pretty split in chat whether that was a catch, never mind... or like between Fat Guy and I and Zaps. I used to really like Marquise Goodwin. Denver +2 and Minnesota +6 looking good in the NBA. I've got, I think I have Minnesota +4.5. So it's +4.5 still good. Oh, wow. Yeah, they're up 14 with 5 minutes left, which, ironically for the NBA, could still mean anything. And then Denver. Yeah, Denver's up nicely in the second quarter. So hopefully those continue. It looks like it slowed down so much, but it looks like he makes the catch. He turns, which I think is a football move, and then he comes down and kind of fumbles. But, like, that's in slow motion, right? I don't know what it looked like at full speed.
The ruling on the field as a complete pass will stand. Why don't they just say ruling on the field will stand?
I don't even know why the actual call should matter. Like, why not just challenge it, and if it's get it right?
That seems like a false start on the right tackle, 75. Wow.
I agree.
Oh, I can't believe he didn't get up there.
Flag
Wow.
on the play. Looks like this is coming back.
Low block. I want to see this.
Oh boy.
I don't know about that.
That's
I don't, dude. You know, I have the Steelers. This benefits me. That is hokey. That is hokey as all hell. You're gonna lose 15 yards. Oh, come on, and wipe 7 off the board. And then he's running. And then okay, you could just as easily make a call for hit to the head on that. Do you know what I mean? Like letter of the law. I mean, he does slide there early. Like I don't know.
just a very bizarre play.
I get no one had touched him, but he'd given himself up. I don't know, but I mean, if you're gonna call the other one, that's a hit to the head. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
on the same level of. That is complete false start on 75 though. I don't know. That's 2 now.
What a play by Cameron Hayward to
Save the
keep that
touchdown.
out.
We're gonna have a big 4th down here.
It looks like they're kicking the ball.
I can't believe 75 got away with 2 false starts.
That was the exact same thing that happened to Roethlisberger earlier.
Yeah, it is.
Was.
Okay, and look at Justin Fields do the dead fish.
Well, it's the same thing Roethlisberger did. That's why it's so weird. This game has just gotten so weird so fast. It's been it's like 4 calls in a row, or non-calls.
But then that was a false start to begin with, like an egregious one. I don't know. I guess it's easier to be an armchair quarterback, armchair referee, rather. I'm sorry. And who is this kid that's Kevin McAllister? I'm not buying it.
Who's the kid? Like, I'm going to know
Archie
anyways.
Yates. As if you would know, yeah. I didn't know him until.
I've been fine with the reffing this year. This has been like the first series of events where it seems like it's just getting out of control. Like, there's bizarre calls that are taking back points. There's it looked like there's been like 2 or 3 false starts in this game. None of them have been called, all on the Bears that I can remember. There's been the phantom like personal foul call on Roethlisberger, and then the exact same thing happens to, like, all you want is consistency, like,
Yeah.
and when you're not getting it even in the same game, it's hard. Because then on the flip side, like, even the Bears had a drive continue because they managed to get Pittsburgh to jump. But then, like, the Bears are getting away with false starts. Like, it's just bizarre. Mickey said, well, that was some BS. A lot of interesting things on that last drive. Looking revisionist history, the biggest play on that drive was actually them stopping Montgomery on that second down carry. And that one I'm twisted on, because if you're going to just turn and slide, like, you're going to get hit in the head as an offensive player.
Yeah.
But I'd like for neither of those calls to be called, but...
Me too. But, like, if Roethlisberger got the other one, then come on.
Yeah.
And that stupid block one, I've never even seen that.
I've never seen that either. They brought up the tackle box. Is that like something that you can only do inside?
Yeah.
Big completion here. And it looked like that ball might have even got tipped out of Roethlisberger's hand when it came out. A huge completion here for Pittsburgh.
James Washington. A guy who I thought was going to be bigger for the Steelers than he has been. There's a guy you could get real cheap. Surprised Harris didn't try and cut the other way right after. There was so much contact leading that one side. You got to think everyone's coming that the other way.
Some big names out for the Bears defense. Awesome job.
That's following your blocks. That could have been for more. Pat Fryermuth. That guy's name's coming up a lot these days.
Baby. I see Mike Pedden's up there.
He's not the D coordinator, but he's obviously involved.
He's a senior defensive assistant.
Nice. Did he get through?
It looks like it's going to be really close, but he looks just short. I actually don't know what Pittsburgh does here.
I think you obviously go for it. That's my opinion on it.
I think so.
Half a yard. It's not even a yard.
I just don't know with how this game's going because it's such a low-scoring game that like field
that
goals
doesn't
are
work
at a
for me, that
premium.
answer. I get it, but this is less than half a yard. Good job. It's like this doesn't even get calculated into that bot because the bot rounds up to 1 yard.
I think he got it, but it's.
Oh, he for sure got it. He for sure got that. I'd be a challenge if he didn't. Where is he gonna spot this?
I love
how arbitrary this is.
Yeah, I love how this goes.
Oh, okay, and then he just moved it up. That's a first down. Oh, that I don't know how that isn't a first down. Like, come on. Yeah, they gave it to him perfect.
Man, Pittsburgh's scored 2 timeouts as well. We'll be back
so
shortly.
Oh, man. If Matt Nagy could lose more hair, I think he would here. I haven't seen the Colts use a dumb timeout yet this year. And that's like, you know, maybe this isn't dumb necessarily, but like you should just be ready the entire time. Another wide receiver sweep for first down, Chase Claypool. Oh, I just saw the referee step on that like target first down thing, and I always thought it was solid. It looked like it was rubbery. That's just so weird to like, because I always thought it was like a hard piece of plastic. I guess not. I don't know if that's necessarily true, Zaps. I don't think they've been. I think you've been adversely affected, but.
Just how it goes, Zaps, though, right? Like in these, as Fat Guy and I like to say, there's a million iterations of these games, and
yeah,
there's bound to be games where there's good calls on one side and good calls for the other. Like it's just part of it.
And like it's your perception of what it is, right? Like I agree to a point, but if you didn't watch the game, it wouldn't matter, right? Like, so I kind of said this the other day. Like, someone was telling me about a bad beat. And I said, I don't think there's really bad beats in sports, you know. And then he's like, well, this happened. And I said, well, I'm not concerned in the circumstances in which I win or lose, right? It's about the decision before the game. If you got a good price, so be it, right? Like that's where it ends, you know. And if you believe you got a good price, and you're a Zaps, you're a record keeper, right? Like you're gonna know if you got a good deal or not on this game later. So then your interest should end right there in terms of financial emotion, if we call it.
What a nice catch.
That Freiermuth again? Oh my goodness.
There's a flag on this play as well.
This might be offensive pass interference. They put it, that was a defensive pass interference? I thought it was the other way around. I don't know about this. Where's the PI? I guess that's it. I don't think that's a penalty on anybody. Like,
that is a huge miss.
yeah, that was a big miss, big time. Big miss, big time. What a stupid, redundant statement.
Tomlin jacked up after that one. You ever go to Montana's Steakhouse?
Not in like many years.
So this is it's not super this isn't super likely, but if the Bears score a touchdown, this is something that we've become privy to over the last few years, is that if you're down 8, you should go for 2. Do we think that Matt Nagy goes for 2? Or do you think he kicks the extra point if they score a touchdown? What's going on, Fear? Matt Nagy is hot doo-doo.
Don't like him.
What percentage of coaches do you think would go for it? I think it's still got to be pretty low.
I'm going to say 30. Higher than you before.
That was a really nice catch by Freiermuth.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of team in this league that would be down 2 scores and running Wildcat.
Yeah, definitely not.
Mike McCarthy definitely would have went for it.
I like how he was in conversation for Coach of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Like Fields' arm strength didn't look that bad on the Marquise Goodwin. Like, shouldn't you look to stretch a little bit more? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. This seems very vanilla, like unambitious offense. This is a good defense. I'm not denying them that, but I don't know. They like dinking and dunking. You're gonna run out of time. I already need 100% success rate, so that was a nice ball. I don't know how zone defense sucks. I think it's every secondary zaps. You play zone, you're gonna miss stuff like that. Like, it just mirrors the D line outside of JJ Watt look huge. TJ Watt rather.
I think they are.
You know what I was really liking commercials and movies when, like, say there's like a hacking scene where someone's hacking, I don't know, some sort of website or something.
Mm-hmm.
The visuals are really nice for that website, like rather than just code on the screen.
Well, I always see in movies like the clear glass, and it's like a huge wall of clear glass with projections on them, and people are doing the hacking. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. I was referencing like the swordfish model, if you've ever seen that, where John Travolta has the worst haircut I've ever seen. Like, that guy's supposed to be a cool high-tech guy in the movie.
Ironically, I could go just across the street and have that haircut before this game's finished.
Can you grow the goatee in the next year? Or sorry, the soul patch?
No, not a
line?
chance. Not a chance. I wouldn't mind a Buff Bagwell goatee.
I'll just start doing adult film.
Yeah, I got to get out of this kid stuff.
Buff Bagwell became a adult film star from what I read.
Oh, you read it. I saw it. It turns
I think his name was Mark Bagwell.
Turns out he was buff and he was the stuff.
As far as unclaimed children, the WCW probably set records during the late 90s. That was a great pass.
Who hooked up with more women? Will Chamberlain or the entire WCW roster?
I'm taking the dub, WCW, man. No way. Dude, they're driving through the South. For sure the conversion rate's higher. Florida, the WCW power plant's in Georgia. I'm sure it's good.
Okay, we actually get to see
A great play.
if the Bears decide to go for two or not.
You see that run, like that misdirection? That actually worked really nicely. You get the full 56 here and 55.
Darnell Mooney ran that in like he was going to give his dad a hug in the end zone, a la Little Giants.
Icebox.
Kicks the extra point.
You want to push for everybody, right? We got our wish and we got our answer. Matt Nagy.
And you're right.
I'm not going to take glee in this one. How are any of these decisions for debate though? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is kind of a solved thing. You know what I mean? And like, these are like, it's not like they don't have the resources. Each franchise is worth multiple billions.
Yeah.
You can't hire 3 nerds at a computer and then listen to them. Actually, that's the thing. They do hire the nerds and then they don't listen to them. That's the interesting part.
Russell Wilson's going to be returning for the Seahawks.
All right. Dude, that guy. Dude, you have to fight to keep that guy from working. Holy. Who's the defensive rookie of the year? Is it like only Micah Parsons? I can't even think of anybody else.
It's got to be. Well, Diggs isn't a rookie, right?
No.
We don't get any defensive stats. Oh, here we go.
Oh.
Yeah, Micah Parsons is second in tackles. He's tied for second in sacks. Or no, he's second in sacks.
That's done.
And then interception-wise, Caden Sturtons, Paulson Adebo, Asante Samuel Jr. all have 2.
Oh, is that out of rookies?
Yeah.
Oh, who's first in tackles?
Nick Bolton on Kansas City.
I really didn't like this player, Jalen Phillips. I'm curious how he's done. Is he on that list at all? On anything?
I'll try to find him in a second.
It's a tough running.
He's got 10 tackles and 2 sacks.
Oh, that's okay. That's better than I would have thought. Oh, you see that block? Oh, man.
That was just a nice play all around. The Steelers have really struggled in short yardage this game.
You got to go for this. Like, you're not, like, I don't know. What is 14 doing?
Wow. They're trying for a long field goal.
This is the decision I like the least. I mean, that is a high percentage. I got to be real, but from the guy that missed a pat.
And he gets it.
Get that?
Wow.
Oh my, right on. What the bot say?
I'm pulling it up. It's not updated yet, but
Yeah,
I'll just keep checking.
Yet.
Field goal was the worst of the choices.
I was right. I'm getting better at this.
You're actually more likely to get it on 4th and 1 than you are to make the field goal from 54. Because they said, or at least according to this, the 69% rate to go for it on 4th and 1, 57% success rate to attempt the field goal.
Well, the interesting thing about that, like, you can make the case that, like, though that's just big data, it's not like
specific,
situation specific, but like,
how much
still,
off can it be?
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, what percentage is it off, right? Like, even against, like, bad offenses can still get a yard. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's my dream job, is to be a GM, and I get to hire the coach. A GM with a very high budget for a front office.
Well, if it's a high budget, I'm screwed.
What do you mean? You can intern?
Exactly. If it was low budget, I got a chance at maybe being like a, you know, assistant to the.
If it's high budget, I'm not getting the job either. Don't worry. I'd have to do some real schmoozing here. Oh, no, you have to do it's the big man con, where you get the person who's making the decision. You make sure that everyone he trusts around you, the people that they trust, keep pumping you, because then the funneling of information gives you a better chance. Like, oh man, that guy's really, like, this happened to me once in poker. Like I didn't even want to play with this guy because people kept hyping how good he was, but they'd never actually played with him before, and I don't know, so it like affected my decisions. Oh, inadvertently. So, and then I just realized he was just bad. That's got to be it, though. Was that Grant? It was. That's as clean as it gets. And Chris Boswell. That's as clear as day. That's as clear as day. Fumble and recovery. If there's any garbage surrounding that, I'd be upset.
There still is a really nice opportunity for a backdoor cover if they can hold Pittsburgh to a field goal.
Or even if Pittsburgh takes the foot off the gas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of ice on Jakeem Grant's neck there. Just dripping, right? Is that what the cool kids say? You know, they can just do, if they don't get it, they can just kick another field goal.
Yeah. Someone wrote somewhere that if like people always like to talk about if they were in the league, what it would look like. And someone said Boswell throwing that ball and taking that hit is what it would look like for a lot of us guys to be in there playing.
I would think so.
It looked like the Bears jumped there.
I think with a year or two of training in my prime, I could have been a Madden 43 tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah, 43 or maybe a 39. I'm fine with that gap.
I played actually college basketball. Or not, I didn't play college basketball. I played high school basketball with a guy who ended up playing tight end college and football. Tight end in college football for...
You botched this delivery real bad, but
I'm trying to remember where he went. He went to some Ivy League school. I don't think he ever actually played any snaps, but I think he was on the roster.
Like Brown, Yale, Harvard, Dartmouth, Northwestern.
I think it was Stanford. Now that I think it was
that's
Stanford.
Like the one I didn't. Well, it's how hard could it be if you're 6'6" and like fast? You know what I mean? Like obviously you're never going to be NFL quality, but I mean like to not look like a complete joke the entire time is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you're 6'6" and fast, right? Like can you just be invisible for a little bit? Like that's what we're talking about, not making plays, just be invisible for a little bit.
What a violent tackle.
Is that Roquan? Yeah, it was Roquan. I can't imagine playing defense though. Like, how much egg would you have on your face as a regular guy? Because it'd be one thing if you were a regular guy playing offense, they just wouldn't use you at all. If you're a defender and you're a regular guy, the ball's coming near you every time.
Well, like there's corners that run 4-4 that get picked on for like 20 attempts in a game. Like,
yeah. Can you imagine how silly any regular guy would look? What a sack! I was waiting for the flag. Knowing this game,
Brian Scalabrine does a thing where he like plays guys.
I love it. I watch all of those,
and he just destroys every one of them.
It's not even close either. You know what I like about the Brian Scalabrine thing is like the idiots he plays against don't think he can shoot.
Yeah,
like not only can he shoot, he shoots extremely well, and he can dunk.
Well, it's like he's also the guy that when you're watching, like, you probably think that you could beat Peyton Manning or Tom Brady in a foot race.
Right now, yes, I do.
Right now. And I don't know. That's the thing, right? That's how much of a gap there is.
You picked the only two guys ever in the history of NFL where I think I could do that.
Yeah.
And maybe one of those like 360-pound linemen. It depends which one.
But that's how like a lot of basketball players feel about Scalabrine. They're just like, oh, he's a punk. Like I could take him one-on-one.
No, there's a difference. Those guys are there's a hand timer, and Manning and Brady were very, very, very slow. And that was when they were rookies. I can't imagine they've gotten better. You know, they're guys in their 40s. You know, I can even at 310 pounds, I can still beat some dads in a foot race, not all. But like Scalabrini, you don't just because he looks like a clown in the NBA doesn't mean he's not going to mess you up in real life.
I feel like the exact same argument you could make for Peyton Manning and Brady. That's why I think it's such an interesting...
In a foot race? A foot race. Maybe not Manning anymore. It seems like he's lost some weight. There's pretty slow guys. Like, I don't know. We're not talking about golf or anything that takes that. It's one thing they're horrible at. Oh, that was so close. Is there a Manning broadcast for this game? I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
You ever seen that? What was it? That Barstool, and I think it was Joseph Foria. Remember that tight end? Caught a couple touchdowns for Detroit. He played a 1-versus-2 basketball game, and he just destroyed the two guys they had there. It was pretty good.
I just saw Mickey wrote in the Discord, but the Minnesota Timberwolves, who were winning all game, end up losing by 7 in overtime.
That's, dude, overtime and basketball covers. Oh, so bad. Oh, that's so annoying.
I feel especially bad for Zaps because he had a better line too. He had Minnesota +6. And
you lose by a point on the best line possible. That's annoying. Yeah. I remember I was watching a basketball game. I had Chicago plus like 5.5 +6, and it was against LeBron James when he was on Cleveland. And Chicago was down by, or no, they were tied at the end of the game, and LeBron James had the ball. I remember my ex-girlfriend going like, "All right now, so we don't want to," like she was trying to like entertain herself with what I was watching.
Possibilities, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, she's like, so it's good if LeBron James doesn't score then, right? I'm like, no, we want him to score. She's like, but I thought you wanted Chicago. I'm like, yes, but if the game goes to overtime, there's a chance that I don't get a cover. And then I try to explain what that was, and I'm like, man, this is way too complicated to the regular person. Like, even just a spread, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of course, I didn't get the cover because overtime. Same thing. Most annoying. It just feels like you're cheated if you don't get a cover.
I wouldn't mind watching Allen Robinson play with Aaron Rodgers.
You mean someone competent? There's so much hype around him every year. You know what I mean? Like, but you never really like.
He's been a good player. Like he's done actually surprisingly well with the quarterbacks he's played with.
Yeah, but at the salaries he's been paid, I don't think he's yielded what you need.
I have no clue what he's getting paid, but it can't be good.
They franchised him 1 year. Chicago did.
And it's decisions like those that make you, whatever they are, 3-5.
Well, they keep you bad or average. It's like a just rushing 4 here.
Fields locked in so hard on who he wanted to throw to that it just ended that play.
Like no chance, right?
This is the best part. It looks like they're punting the ball.
Well, obviously you don't want to win. Like,
Yeah.
I guess you have 3 timeouts. Like, but okay, this is my thing. My one argument. If you're gonna go for it, you're like, I'm gonna go for it every time. Why not set it up so that your 4th downs are always short yardage? Like, that's not that hard to do.
Well,
never mind.
Was this actually a fumble?
Hell, I want to see now. How do you have I never understand special teams gaff. Oh, he's hanging out one like he knows what he's doing.
That one's very strange because the ball kind of moved.
Oh, he's
but
down.
It was still like
it's not even close.
It's interesting.
This one has to go pit way.
Because the ball's it's out.
Oh, maybe it is.
You can kind of see it from that first angle, but it's hard to see.
Yeah, well, he dispossesses it. Does he like repossess it and go down and then? Oh, they confirmed it. Because like that one when he goes down, I don't know. That's a weird one. That was really stupid. That was really stupid.
That
was really stupid.
That score officially puts the game over.
Nice, and you had a pretty good chance at an under even without that play.
It can happen. The live OU is now 51.5 with huge juice on the under.
I like how you're doing spin moves to get a yard.
It's just like it's awareness, right? Like with how this game's gone. Like you fair catch that ball. Like that's all. That's the only thing you do is you fair catch it. If it's like 20 yards short of you, you leave it. That's the only 2 options. I don't know what else you're doing. Zaps.
Well, if you have to make a play on the ball, you just run double, hold it tight like this and slide. Like.
But this is what makes the NFL exciting, right? There's been so much drama and uncertainty despite how lackluster this game has been. From it hasn't been a beautiful offensive performance. It's been a grindy, ugly match between just 2 bizarre offensive teams. It's very interesting that the OU set at 51.5, but it's at minus 285.
Well, there's only a certain amount of scores that can happen though, Big Right? Right? So it's predicated on that, right? Like a lot of the other numbers aren't achievable, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the thing, though. Zaps, like, turnovers at certain parts of the field and, bad special teams plays, like, all that stuff gets thrown out the window. That's why, like, anytime you're, like, so many people I've talked to lately, they're telling me, like, oh, this has an 80% chance, this has a 90% chance to win. It's like, there's just so much stuff that can go on. Every single play in the NFL, every single event you can think of, there's just so many different things that can happen.
What I don't get is when people say there's a 90% chance of something happening. Well, wager 45% of your bankroll, use half Kelly. Technically, it should be 45% of what you own. And then you quickly realize it's not actually 90%, because they're not willing to do that. So it's just like people are so hyperbolic about estimations. It's crazy.
What a run.
That was crazy.
Looked very Le'Veon Bell-esque.
Did. To get around Eddie Goldman, too, on that edge. He only had one place to go.
Not good for Chase Claypool. Hopping off the field. College basketball starts tomorrow.
Yeah. Nice one from the announcer. Now with Claypool not in there, I'm not worried about them throwing the ball down deep. Okay. Yeah, so none of the other guys could make a catch deep. Sure. Look how far the safeties are playing off.
Big first down. But there's a flag on the play. It's on the defense.
He's lined up offside. Claypool's back in.
At least we get a smart play by the running back there to stay in bounds. Yeah, if Hicks is out, that's not good. That's 3 marquee players that the Bears are missing on defense.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No. Why are they whistling it dead then if that's the case? I don't think that's a fumble.
It's close, but I think it's an incomplete pass.
I think it's incomplete. By there, like I still think like I don't know. Yeah, that's not a fumble. Holy smokes.
Is that Cassius Marsh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, off the practice squad.
Holy!
Oh, they called like a taunting penalty on Marsh?
Yeah, he that's what they've been calling all year. Holy. I mean, that's weak as hell, but they have been calling him this year, but that's like how boring is that? Man, Machine Gun Kelly got jagged.
It's such a dumb play by Marsh.
You're not supposed to look at the like it's supposed to be taunting the other team. You're not supposed to do that, like because he's facing the wrong bench. I still don't care. Like why is that even a rule? They have been calling that this year though.
They're all telling him it's all right, but like he's probably getting cut after this game.
Yeah. Yeah, but don't do it then, Jay. That like I can't give it that like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think it should be a rule in the first place. I think it's ridiculous. But whatever. Like it.
I agree with it. I agree with it. It shouldn't be a rule because it's so arbitrary.
Yeah, they have been calling these though all year, like that they're actually consistent with it. I think the rules so stupid though. Oh my god, this is gonna be a low
a low hit.
Yeah, a low hit on Robert Quinn. This is crazy now.
Oh, holding. So decline.
Oh, okay, there you go. Nice play by Robert Quinn.
I didn't see which defensive end that was, but he like put his hand on Roethlisberger's like on his side and pushed down to get up.
Yeah.
Man, that puts them at like fringe field goal range.
What do you do here? Why you go for it and put the game out of reach?
Oh, he bumped into the official too. Like, what are you doing? What a clown.
Oh, yeah. Like, why did he even go over there? I don't know. Hard to say the ref's looking for contact.
No, the ref did definitely walk into him and then throw the flag. But either way,
Oh,
both
yeah,
of
he
them
kind
are
of did.
both of them are clowns. Like, what are you? I don't know, man. We get a field goal attempt here from Pittsburgh.
The ref did back into him. I didn't believe it. Wow.
Boswell clutch this game.
Well, he did miss that pat that would allow for a push, but
He did, but he hit two 50-plus
Yes,
yard
he
field
did.
goals
did
in
he ever?
Pittsburgh. Remember Pittsburgh? It was like the longest time they had no field goals made over 50 yards.
I don't recall. I remember when they had Jeff Reed and he sucked. Why do they keep showing Machine Gun Kelly at the camera over there?
It's a pretty big play.
Yeah, but like, come on. It's just like we get it. You know what I mean? Like, it happened.
Well, the broadcasts like to polarize like one play at the end of these games to like hinge, like it had this huge impact on, like it's not your and I's style, but it's just what the broadcasts do, right?
Like, boring. Yeah, I know, but like, whatever. So a practice squad player did something stupid. You know what I mean? How about the stupid decision to not go for two by Matt Nagy? Like, there's a lot of dumb stuff you could do that.
Yeah.
What about the stupid kick return? Like, if Jakeem Grant fumbles trying to make something, that's way more forgivable than who was it? McLeod on Pittsburgh with that really dumb fumble that resulted in a DST, like a DST touchdown.
So I found something from 2015. But in 2015, it said only 29 field goals of 50 yards or more have been attempted at Heinz Field, and only 8 have been made.
Oh, fuck. You know what that stat makes me think of?
What?
The Kirk Cousins prime time. So think about it. If you were to graph out 50-yard kicks, there's got to be like one really ugly place, and that would be here. Kind of like when you graph out primetime quarterbacks at that sample, there's got to be a guy who has a really ugly record, right? So it's just like, obviously the conditions aren't that great there, and weather has been poor, but like, it's also some bad variance, I would imagine, too. Dude, he overthrew the receiver. That's awesome.
And Mooney wasn't even going full out on the break.
He would have got there.
Smart play by Fitzpatrick. He could have messed up Fields on that play.
But why give him 15, right?
Yeah.
And he really wanted to pull him down real bad.
Oh, like he could have
Yeah.
slid him into the chairs.
Yeah. But that was for my team. Like, you know, it would be it's hard in that moment to like ease up. Oh,
Oh, just a bad read there. Mickey just said that Karl Anthony Towns hit a bank shot 30-foot three-pointer to force overtime.
and to screw you guys.
Yes, we would have won if he didn't make that shot.
That's so funny.
I can't remember exactly where they up. I think Minnesota was up 14 with 5 minutes left in that game. And I even said like anything could happen in the NBA, and it did. So I had another one earlier this year. I forget what big underdog it was, but they were playing against Phoenix. And they were up like 12 in the third. And Phoenix ended up winning the game by like 20. But the live line, like, because they were like a 4-1 dog. And they were like they were like minus 400 at halfway through the third.
Really?
But like those live bets are interesting. Like if you want to bet the Bears live right now, it's plus 288 to win.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, like plus 288 to score a touchdown on a drive.
I think it's third down though.
Yeah.
Mind you, they have it's 2 downs, obviously, so to get not even like 4 yards.
Third and 2. Allen Robinson makes a big play. Nice throw by Justin Fields. They should have let him
score.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, what? They used 2 timeouts early on. Do they only have 1 timeout left?
Yeah.
Where did he actually step out? They marked him out at the 16. Both teams only have 1 timeout.
It's probably even money for a touchdown now if it's at the 16.
Well, the ticker
probably
gave
favored,
us a little bit of a Mooney scores.
Wow, this is going to hurt my survivor. Holy. Still got a chance here.
Yeah, he still has to make this extra point.
And there's a field goal opportunity. A minute 46 is a lot.
Yeah, I still think it's probably like 50-50.
Did he go out of bounds?
No.
Can't tell. That's good. That's a touchdown.
So how far do they bring this up? Pittsburgh plus 122 on the live line.
What did this idiotic commentator just said? You got options about going it for 2 now. Is this guy joking?
He probably isn't joking, but it's a
And then
dumb
he's like,
thing to
"Oh,"
say.
and then he goes, "Nah, they're gonna kick a field goal anyways." Like, how this guy? Like, how do you get a job? I think it's Brian Greasy. We get it. You won a Super Bowl, but like, come on. Or no, his dad did. Brian Greasy's the younger one. Like, you've been in football your whole life. Like, how are you this idiotic about it? It's true. Then Matt Nagy's going to talk about how good of a coach he is after in the locker room.
Three touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Very Houston Texans of the Chicago Bears. Maybe they should have gone for 2 there. This actually puts the 7 cover.
I was just thinking that.
The push
in
frequency just increased. I know Untouchable Jay has the Bears money line.
Wow.
I'm expecting a pass to Najee Harris here to start out this drive.
Oh, you got to give. Oh, he didn't go down? Dude, 20, I was going to give some credit to Shelley. Go out of bounds. Chris Boswell might get a chance to actually be the hero of this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They get the time back though. They still have a timeout too. This isn't. I don't mind their chances right now. Oh my god. See who this flag is on though. They line up in the neutral zone again? What difference does it make? He gave up a reception. They're throwing still? I guess you want to get closer, but oh man. Shh. It's against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's a false start.
That would have been a big play too, I think. That's just that 75 on the Bears was way worse than that, but false start is a false start, and that's a false start. Prior move. They have that timeout. You'd take a run here. What?
The Bears had a defensive player running off the field, so Roethlisberger was trying to get the snap off quick enough.
That's awesome. Good job, Big Ben. Wow. That is awesome. Look how, oh God, Matt Nagy looks so stupid. Look how your team is just giving this away. Who's he talking to? Roger Goodell? The spike is good. So they were going to have 10 men on the field then? That was what their plan was?
That's actually pretty genius if that's what they did.
Yeah,
I know they didn't do that.
they did. Come on, it's who you norm, and it's a meta joke. Come on, that's not what happened. Who is Matt Nagy talking to? Like God? Like help me.
They've got to stop the clock and at least measure this. Like,
Dude, in the old days, he would have ran for a touchdown there. Just bumbled his way down and knocked people over. He's way short. Hey, look at his knee.
he looks about a half yard short. So, clock, that would put them at a 4th and 1. Chicago should use their timeout.
Yes, and they should kick this field goal. I don't. That's good. That's fair.
they start this clock and the Bears don't take a timeout, I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah.
It's like minus 470 that he makes this. Whatever that is.
They took a timeout. Chicago did.
Okay, good. So
This guy should talk to God again.
It's like an 80% chance he makes this. Mickey thinks he's going to miss. I'm going to just going to pull this over here. There's got to be some sort of flag on this play. I can already see the live lines. The live line changed, so I know what happens here. Fat guy is still alive.
And they just showed Cassius Marsh. He's probably played 7 snaps. Okay, no funny business, Bears. You bet this could still happen. No crazy laterals.
This is definitely still in play.
But they only need a field goal, so like they don't have any timeouts. This coach is a clown. He should write "be somebody else" on his sheet. As a total clown.
Jakeem Grant's like, can I just go home?
So play 3 deep safeties.
Would you rather have Nagy or Gase as your head coach?
At least one guy's actually had successful offenses before. You know what I mean? It won't even matter. They'll be fired by the end of the year.
I think they just
Matt Nagy
told
won Coach of the Year once.
I think they just had to tell like Cairo Santos and the holder like essentially be ready to run on the field. I would love to see them bomb this and then have the guys run on the field and try to make a field goal with the time running down. That would be
Yeah, well watch for PI. That's your best shot here. Taking a holding penalty is not that bad. It's 5 yards. PI.
legal contact on Pittsburgh.
He just said it's good to take a shot at the middle of the field. Brian Greasy did.
It's a little bit too late for that.
Like, is this guy for real? Brian Greasy is a literal moron. Like, did someone ding him over the head with a hammer? I guess he was a quarterback. Take a shot to the middle of the field? Of all guys that should know, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you've never run like a last second drive. That was surprisingly good. I don't know what you do here though.
Well, there's no way Cairo Santos can kick a 60.
66. Oh, they added a second.
If they can, they can throw an out here, even for 5 yards, they have a chance.
Then what? I don't know.
The tackle just jumped. And then as Fields, you throw that to Wattside.
So what do? You kick a field goal here? Like what? Oh, Mickey's got a good line. Maggie covering his mouth like someone is going to steal his plays. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, as an offensive lineman, aren't you supposed to be cutting down?
That's a good point. They're gonna do it. I want them to make it. I don't care if
they have to. You just have to.
I guess, yeah.
But Cairo Santos is not Justin Tucker, so. That looks so promising, but I don't know where this actually hits.
It hit the crossbar.
I don't think so. I think it was 10 yards short.
That's what the announcer said.
I want to see this. This game was very exciting. Can we get a replay of this kick? There's no way they're not going to show a replay of the kick.
How would you not show the kick again? Instead, you get this bald loser who keeps telling everyone to beat him.
Here we go. It feels like the wind took that back too. And that definitely didn't hit the crossbar. That thing fell.
Wasn't even clear. Now the announcer's apologizing.
Yeah.
Get Brian Greasy out of here, man.
I was going to say, live it looked about 10 yards short.
Why? Brian Greasy said it hit the upright.
Well, it's because, at that back camera angle, it looks like that, but, you're in the stadium, right?
You're in the stadium. I don't, what?
Have a good night, Jay.
I wouldn't trust Brian Greasy to park my car. This guy's a complete moron, man. How does he get paid? They should bring back Gruden. Someone should go through Brian Greasy's emails.
Yeah.
All right, Big Ray. I got some business to tend to.
We're out of here. You guys all have a good night. Thanks for joining us, guys. Seriously, and you guys all have a good night.
Thank you.